A deep self-reflection of my life at Princeton University, number 1657, May 26, 2026, Gerald C. EclaireMD Foundation, category, Reflection on Life and Diseases. Preface for readers, true health begins with the choices we make at the dinner table and in our daily routines. Focus your diet on fresh vegetables and clean proteins, while stepping back from processed foods and heavy red meats. If you are carrying extra weight, practicing portion control is vital, and during a slight deficit will never harm you. But decades of overeating certainly will. Complement your nutrition with physical activity by aiming for at least 7,000 to 8,000 steps every single day. Keep your body hydrated with 85 to 100 ounces to 0.5 to 3.0 liters of water daily. And ensure your mind rests with 6 to 7 hours of sleep each night. Just as importantly, protect your mental peace by managing stress, walking away from emotionally draining individuals, and avoiding trivial conflicts. Always put your well-being first. Wealth, fame, and influence mean nothing if you do not have the health and life to enjoy them. A personal reflection. This paper came to life on the morning of May 26, 2026, the day of my grandson's graduation from Princeton University. I had just completed a grueling 13-hour flight from Hawaii to New York to witness this milestone. But my body rebelled against the time change. I tossed and turned, unable to fall asleep until 4 a.m., only to wake up 2 hours later. By 7:45 a.m., my family was gathering to head to the commencement ceremony. Facing intense exhaustion, I chose a practical path over social expectations. I stayed in my hotel room to rest, deciding to join the later in the afternoon for family photographs. I carry no regret regarding that choice. Approaching 80 years of age and living as a hemorrhagic stroke survivor, I have come to realize that protecting one's health is far more important than keeping up appearances. My presence in Princeton had already fulfilled my grandfatherly duty. Sitting in a crowded stadium for hours would not elevate my grandson's achievement. But pushing through severe physical exhaustion could easily have triggered another medical crisis. For me, as I rested quietly in my hotel room, my mind naturally drifted into a deep reflection on my life. Aging seems to strip away many illusions and forces us to look backward more honestly. Perhaps a stroke makes a person look at life differently. Or perhaps being exhausted removes the mental filters and makes a person face reality more directly. Whatever the real reason was, my mind became exceptionally clear. A single, clear signal suddenly emerged without much surrounding noise. This article is not a statement of self-pity or emotional drama. It is simply the honest, data-driven truth of my life. For the first 50 years of my life after age 5, I pursued what society commonly defines as success. I spent countless hours studying, working, getting married, raising children, and building a career, just like anyone else. I then founded companies, led organizations, accumulated wealth, and accepted heavy responsibilities. By society's standards, I won. By age 55, I had acquired fame, power, and financial security. But my body paid the price for those ambitions. My heart, kidneys, nerves, eyes, blood vessels, and brain all suffered measurable damage. I was hospitalized 9 times. The stress became so severe that I required many hospital visits and 3 years of continuous psychotherapy after selling my high-tech company in Silicon Valley. To me, the experience felt similar to a parent giving a baby up for adoption. Obesity, type 2 diabetes, 5 cardiovascular episodes, the 3 of kidney failure, neuropathy with the possibility of toe amputation, retinopathy approaching blindness, advanced vascular aging and calcification, and ultimately a recent pontine stroke became major chapters of my personal medical history. Turning the page to the last third of my life, I redirected that same intense work ethic toward a different mission: survival. I spent approximately 9 years studying psychology and writing around 200 research papers. I then spent another 16.5 years deeply studying health, lifestyle science, medicine, and pathophysiology while applying my knowledge of mathematics, topology, physics, TSI models, engineering, viscoplasticity, and wave theory, and artificial intelligence architecture. During that period, I wrote more than 1,300 medical research papers. In total, I devoted nearly 26 years, averaging 13 to 14 hours of work per day, to studying various mortality diseases from both psychological and pathophysiological perspectives in an effort to preserve my health and extend my life. When most people become seriously ill, they rely primarily on medications, surgeries, doctors, and hospitals. My path was different. Supported by 44 years of higher education across 12 academic disciplines, more than 4 million self-collected data points, mathematical and physical research models. Customized medical AI software developed on my iPhone for personal use. Careful daily observations and recordings, strong willpower, and rigorous discipline. I became both the patient and the investigator of my own diseases, not a doctor. I treated my own body as both a biomedical laboratory and a complex engineering system in order to better understand the mechanisms operating within it. At this crossroads of life, the fame, power, and wealth I once acquired no longer hold much meaning for me. Those three things are the noise I mentioned earlier. Having possessed all three, I understand their value and usefulness, but I also understand their limitations and the consequences of pursuing them. They are tools, not the purpose of my life. What remains most meaningful is warm heart filled with unconditional love and care. In my nearly 80 years of life, only 3 people have given me that kind of love completely and without calculation: my parents and my wife. My parents cared about me long before I achieved anything and continued to do so until the final days of their lives without asking anything in return. My wife stayed beside me through success and failure, sickness and recovery, and the many changes that came with aging. Their love was never based on money, status, fame, power, or usefulness. Looking back today, those relationships mean far more to me than any academic achievement, professional accomplishment, business success, fame, power, or wealth I accumulated. During this restless early morning, my mind became exceptionally clear. I reached a conclusion about my life I have little memory of. The first 5 years of life. During the following 50 years, I gradually accumulated many forms of chronic disease and mortality risk. During the following 25 years after age 55, I devoted myself to learning about and fighting those diseases in order to survive. I spent the first 2/3 of my life getting sick and the remaining 1/3 learning how to understand and fight those diseases. Throughout my life, I studied mathematics, physics, engineering, and artificial intelligence. That knowledge helped me acquire fame, power, and wealth. But looking back now, I realize those were only noise. The main signal of my life was knowledge itself, which ultimately helped me understand my diseases and fight for my life. Survival has been the true signal of my life, while fame, power, and money became noise. Education, continuous learning, and the pursuit of knowledge became the tools and medication that helped keep me alive on this lovely earth. Epilogue. During that quiet morning in Princeton, after a sleepless night, and while reflecting on my past life, a simple realization surfaced in my mind. Throughout my life, I pursued many goals and experienced many successes. Yet when I look back across nearly 80 years, most of those achievements gradually faded into the background. What remained was the pursuit of knowledge and the desire to survive. I eventually realized that I was never trying to prove anything to anyone. I was simply trying to understand what was happening inside my own body and to learn enough to stay alive. Perhaps that is why this paper feels less like a memoir and more like a personal research note, written over an entire lifetime. If I were asked to summarize my life's trajectory in only 3 words, it would be learning, understanding, survival. Furthermore, my Princeton reflection eventually reduced an 80-year lifespan to 4 dominant variables: knowledge, survival, love, signal versus noise. This content is provided for educational reference only and does not constitute medical advice. No doctor-patient relationship is created. You may share this summary freely, but it must not be altered, edited, or republished as your own. All intellectual property rights and copyrights for this article and its related materials belong to the author, Gerald C.